Itzhak Bentov gave us the definitive model of the holographic universe. He handed us the keys to understanding our reality as a vast, vibrating field of information. But what if he died hiding his final equation? We focus on his pendulum, the constant oscillation of consciousness. We study the hologram. But his final secret was not about the movement of consciousness. It was about its stillness. We are familiar with Bentov's pendulum, the endless swing between polarities, the cosmic dance of energy and information that creates our experience of the universe. This, we were told, is the mechanism of reality. But this is only the experience inside the machine. What if there is an equation not of physics, but of consciousness itself? Consider this. If your consciousness is a pendulum, swinging back and forth, creating the illusion of time and space, what happens when that pendulum stops? Not in death, not in stagnation, but in a state of perfect, absolute equilibrium. This is the decoding of Bentov's final equation. It is the concept of the absolute point, a single, still, zero point, where the observer and the observed merge, where consciousness stops witnessing reality and becomes it. Join the 2% who journey deeper. Our analytics show a curious pattern. Nearly 98% of those who watch these decodings are not yet subscribed. If you find value in this journey and wish to support the decoding of ancient wisdom, please take a moment to subscribe and join the community. Your support ensures these messages continue to be found. To understand the absolute point, we must first deconstruct the reality Itzhak Bentov so meticulously mapped. His model of the holographic universe is foundational. He proposed that what we perceive as solid reality is anything but. It is a projection, a complex interference pattern of frequencies. And what is the engine driving this projection? You are. Specifically, your consciousness, which he famously described as a pendulum. Picture this. Your awareness is not static. It is oscillating, vibrating at an incredible speed. It moves from a point of absolute rest, the 0 point, out into the field of potential, gathers information, and returns. This cycle, repeated billions of times per second, creates the linear flow of time. It creates the separation of here and there. It creates the you who observes and the world that is observed. This oscillation is your experience of life. It is the rhythm of the cosmos beating through you. But herein lies the profound problem, the central deception of our existence. The oscillation is the illusion. As long as your consciousness is oscillating, you are trapped in duality. You are forever the observer, separate from the observed. You are reading the code of the hologram, but you are not writing it. Now, imagine a mind that is constantly in motion, a mind lost in thought, driven by external stimuli, reacting to the past, fearing the future. This is the pendulum swinging wildly. This is the state the system prefers. A consciousness fragmented by movement cannot perceive the source of its own power. Bentov, in his deep research into meditation and altered states, understood this. He realized that the ancient mystics and the quantum physicists were describing the same thing. The entire universe of form, of matter, of time and space exists only in the movement of this pendulum. So what is the secret? What lies beyond the movement? Itzhak Bentov's work points to a staggering conclusion. The mechanism of the hologram, the pendulum, is a trap for those who identify with it. It is the matrix, if you will. The real power does not lie in observing the hologram better. The real power lies in finding the one place in the entire universe that is not moving. To write reality, you must find the pen, and the pen is not in motion. The pen is perfectly, absolutely still. Consider this. The very act of observing creates separation. The moment you see a problem, you have created a you and a problem. Duality is born. The oscillation continues. Bentov's final equation is the blueprint for collapsing this duality. It is the map out of the audience and into the projector room. What then is this absolute point? It is the singularity of consciousness. It is the 0 point. In the language of Hermeticism, which Thoth laid down, it is the all. It is the I am. It is the state of pure, undifferentiated, non-dual awareness. It is the moment before the first oscillation. It is the state of consciousness before it decides to observe. And in doing so, before it fractures into observer and observed. This is not a void. It is not emptiness. The absolute point is the opposite. It is the plenum, the state of infinite potential where all possibilities exist simultaneously, unmanifested. It is the raw material of reality. Now, let us use one of Bentov's own profound analogies to decode this. He often described the holographic universe as a film projector. We, as human observers, are fixated on the images projected onto the screen. We see the people, the cars, the drama. We see our lives unfolding. This is the hologram. This is the result of the oscillating pendulum. A more advanced seeker, perhaps someone practicing meditation, might become aware of the light itself, the beam traveling from the projector to the screen. They see the mechanism. They understand they are watching a projection. This is a crucial step. But Bentov's final secret points behind the light. It points to the source of the light itself. The absolute point is the bulb in the projector. It is the singular, still, white-hot point from which all light, all information, all potential realities emerge. Before the light passes through the film strip, which is the matrix of your beliefs, your karma, your thoughts, it is pure, total, and absolute. When you are identified with the images on the screen, you are a victim of the story. When you identify with the light beam, you are an observer of the story. But when you identify with the bulb, when you become the absolute point, you are the author. This is the state that mystics have spent millennia trying to describe. It is the nirvana of the Buddha. It is the kingdom of heaven within. Itzhak Bentov, with his engineer's mind, was simply providing the physics for it. He understood that this absolute point is not somewhere out there in the cosmos. It is the very center of your own consciousness. It is the eye of the storm. It is the still pivot point around which the pendulum of your mind swings. If you've ever felt that stillness during deep meditation, that brief, profound moment of pure presence where your thoughts stop and you just are, what did it feel like to you? Let me know in the comments below. This state is not passive. This is the ultimate deception. We are taught that stillness is inaction. Bentov's work reveals that this stillness is the highest form of action. It is the action of creation itself. When you access this point, you are no longer a pattern within the hologram. You become the source of the hologram. So, what is the formula?
What is Bentov's final equation? Be prepared, because it is not written in mathematics. It is not E equals mc squared. It is an equation of being. It is a formula for dissolving the illusion. The equation is this: consciousness minus time plus space equals the absolute. Let us decode this piece by piece, as it is the very architecture of your power. First, consciousness. This is the fundamental component. But crucially, this is not your personality. It is not your thoughts, your memories, your name, or your history. Those are all part of the film strip. This consciousness is the pure, raw awareness behind your thoughts. It is the I am. It is the light, the watcher. Second, time plus space. This is the variable you must remove. This is the illusion. What are time and space, according to Bentov? They are not fundamental realities. They are byproducts of the pendulum's oscillation. Think of it. Time is simply the measurement of the pendulum's swing from past to future. Space is the measurement of its swing from here to there. They feel real, but they are perceptual artifacts of a consciousness in motion. So, time plus space is another name for movement. It is another name for duality. It is another name for separation. Third, the absolute. This is the result. This is the God state. This is the 0 point. It is the projector bulb. It is the unified field, the singularity of pure creative potential. So the equation reads, pure awareness, once you remove the illusion of movement and separation, equals the absolute creator. Now, how does this work in practice? When your mind is oscillating, you are in time and space. You are trying to manifest something. You're here, and the thing you want is there, in the future. You're using the rules of the hologram against itself. It is difficult. It is a struggle. But when you apply the equation, you stop the pendulum. You do this by bringing your awareness into the absolute present moment. In the true, deep present moment, time collapses. There is no past or future. There is only now. And in that same moment, space collapses. There is no here or there. There is only here. In that here-now singularity, the time plus v variable becomes 0. And what is left? Consciousness equals the absolute. In that instant, the observer merges with the observed. The you who wants something merges with the something that is wanted. There is no separation. You do not attract reality. You become the reality you wish to see. This is the creation mechanism that was hidden in plain sight. Consider this. All esoteric traditions point to this. Be still and know that I am God. It was not a religious command. It was a physics instruction. Be still, that is, stop the pendulum, remove time and space, and know, merge, become, that I am God, the absolute creator. Bentov's final equation is the scientific translation of the most profound spiritual truth ever uttered. If this equation is so simple, why is it the most forbidden secret on Earth? Why is it not taught in every school? Because the entire system, the matrix, the archons, the structures of control, is built upon the illusion of movement. The system requires you to remain in a state of oscillation.
It functions on your separation. It feeds on your duality. A mind that is balkanized by fear, oscillating into a negative future, or regret, oscillating into a negative past, is a mind that is easily controlled. A mind that is distracted by desire, oscillating toward an external object, or division, oscillating between us and them, is a mind that is trapped in the hologram. The system is a machine designed to keep your pendulum swinging, and swinging wildly. It does this through media, through culture, through education, through fear. It creates endless problems for you to solve, forever keeping you in the role of the observer trying to fix the projection rather than the projector changing the film. Now, picture this. What happens to this system when an individual consciousness applies Bentov's final equation? What happens when you stop swinging? They vanish from their radar. A consciousness at the absolute point is off the grid. It is no longer providing the energy of fear, division, or desire that the system requires. A still mind is a sovereign mind. And more than that, a still mind is a dangerous mind. Because a consciousness that has returned to the absolute point, to the projector bulb, can change the film. A single, truly sovereign consciousness, resting in its own I amness, has the power to write new code for the hologram. It can collapse timelines. It can heal the body. It can rewrite the laws of physics as they perceive them. This is the true danger of stillness. It is not passive. It is the ultimate rebellion. So, how do you access the absolute point? This is the final key. You cannot go there. Any attempt to go somewhere implies movement, which implies time and space. It is a trap. You do not go to the absolute, you become it. The technique is embedded in the equation itself. It is the subtraction of illusion. You must, fact-check note, Bentov himself was a deep practitioner of meditation and studied the physiological effects of Kundalini and mystical states. He believed the body itself was an antenna that could be tuned to this ultimate frequency. You begin by observing the observer. You watch your own thoughts. You see the pendulum swinging, but you do not engage. You do not try to stop it. You simply watch. With each breath, you detach from the content of the thoughts and attach to the awareness behind them. You shift your identity from the image on the screen to the light of the projector. You stop identifying with time plus space. You stop being the person with a past and a future. You become the presence that is only here, now. This is the work. It is a moment-by-moment subtraction of everything you are not until all that is left is what you are, the absolute.
This text decodes the hidden physics of consciousness, blending scientific inquiry with deep esoteric wisdom. Itzhak Bentov's final equation was not a scientific discovery in the traditional sense. It was a revelation. It was the unified field theory, not of physics, but of being. He gave us the map of the hologram, the pendulum, the oscillations, the frequencies, but his final, unspoken work was the map home. For decades, we have been told the universe is a hologram you are in. This is the exoteric teaching. The esoteric, final truth is different. The universe is the hologram, and you are the absolute point of consciousness projecting it. You are not the pendulum, forever swinging between pain and pleasure, past and future,
hope, and fear. You are the pivot, the still, silent, eternal center point around which the entire cosmos turns. The equation is solved not by doing, but by being, by stopping, by remembering that you are not the observer. You are the absolute.